and Snow the Goalie, a Flyers podcast. Tonight's show is brought to you by Capital Grille, Chickies and Pete's, and Payroll Service Solutions. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for Snow the Goalie. Now, here are your hosts, Anthony SanFilippo, Russ Joy, and former Flyer Chris Therien.
Welcome into Snow the Goalie. We are live from Chickies and Pete's in South Philly. Oh, and it's early. It's, I believe, an hour earlier than our normally scheduled time, and that is because we have a lot going on, gents. Tonight, the Flyers take on Connor McDavid, who many consider the best player in the world, and the Edmonton Oilers, a nationally televised game. We are getting ready. Thank you so much. We are getting ready for Flyers Oilers, and I'm getting ready to dive into a player in the world, and the Edmonton Oilers, a nationally televised game. We are getting ready. Thank you so much. We are getting ready for Flyers Oilers, and I'm getting ready to dive into a crab cake sandwich. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing wonderful, Russ. Doing wonderful, and I'm excited to be here in South Philly, right across the street from the Xfinity Mobile Arena, where the Flyers and Oilers will play tonight. And we have a special guest with us here on Snow the Goalie tonight. Joining us is the radio analyst for all of your Flyers games, Todd Fedoruk.
A.K.A. Fridge.
A.K.A.
What's
Fridge,
up,
better
Fridge?
known as Fridge. I like the intro. Special is right. And yeah, Fridge. How you guys doing?
Doing awesome, man. How about
Good to
yourself?
see my old teammate here, Bundy.
Yeah.
Oh, Bundles. You got the Movember going, aren't you?
I got the Movember going.
Are
Bundles.
we on TV too, Bundy?
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah,
It's a
we're
live
live.
stream.
man.
Right,
Live
live
stream.
It's a live
Oh, yeah.
stream.
Hey, I'm excited about tonight, actually. I've been getting a lot of calls from back home. I'm obviously from
Yeah.
northeast of Edmonton, a small town called Redwater. But, yeah, they like seeing their Oilers back here on the East Coast. And Connor McDavid, you mentioned him. He's always exciting to watch.
You know, the best thing, yesterday we were over at Flyers Training Center, and Rick Tocchet says all the time, when we go into a game, I prepare. I'm worried about our team on 80% and about the other team about 20%. He said when it comes to Connor McDavid, it's 50-50.
Yeah, between him and Draisaitl, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to be aware of when that guy's on the ice. He is one of the most prolific, the most prolific player in the NHL right now. He can create absolutely something out of nothing. He kind of fits that role, and you'll see it tonight. You'll see a different level of player in tonight's game with Connor McDavid. He does it every night.
He turned it on the other night against Columbus. They were down 5-3, and he really put a show on in the third period. And they're going to need a lot of that because they've had a slow start coming out of the gates again. They pick it up as the season goes on, but sometimes you run out of that goodwill. So they're really trying to clamp some wins together as well as they start a 7-game road trip here tonight.
Well, they needed to have a good game against Columbus after getting absolutely pasted by Colorado.
Yeah.
Lost that game 9-1.
Yeah.
One of the things for you guys that I wanted to ask you about, especially when it comes to playing this Edmonton team, is do you feel like the Flyers have a little less pressure on a guy like Coots because maybe in the past he was really the only guy that you would put up against the other team's top line, but now that Noah Cates has kind of developed into that really responsible two-way center, that now you basically have two lines that you could kind of throw out there against good players like McDavid and Draisaitl and feel a little bit more comfortable about it and not worried about, oh, geez, who the hell else are we going to put out there against these guys?
Defer to the D-man on that. No, Catesy is obviously, I mean, when having a guy like that, he was not supposed to be that prolific shutdown type of, like, very cerebral forward, right?
Yeah.
And he just started there. He's got skill as well, but how smart he is defensively, where he checks, how he plays with other players as well. Yeah, you can put him right against McDavid. He actually kind of broke out against McDavid, had his kind of breakout, like, holy smokes, this guy's shutting down McDavid. Yeah. So, yeah, is that a great thing to have? Because Coots is a special player in his own right, defensively, but just in the middle of the ice, he's a big, strong centerman. To have a guy, especially with the makeup of the team, the way that they're built this year now, to have that guy that can just kind of fill that role, you can move him up and down the lineup, but to have that one defensive centerman that can just be the number one shutdown guy, your face-off guy, Catesy kind of fills that role a little bit, and that does make it a lot easier for Coots.
Well, while we're on the topic of Coots, because the comments are certainly going to go wild about it, it was something that I think was an oddly manufactured outrage on Flyers Twitter, a pretty unhinged place as it is. You guys were both in locker rooms before. You guys know how captains typically talk about their teammates, about the way that you address things. an important piece of context that was lost in the whole Sean Couturier commenting on Matvei Michkov is that he was asked a direct question about Matvei Michkov and how they're trying to work with him through the early part of the season. That got clipped up. People then somehow created it into Sean Couturier is a terrible leader. Who goes out and flames a young player like this? What an irresponsible guy. Get that out of here. Seemed insane. But that's for me, and I'm just a regular guy. You guys have both been in locker rooms. You know Sean Couturier. Your thoughts on his leadership and the way that, he addressed the situation and addressed the question.
You know what? When I did TV, especially TV, I used to interview Coots a lot. And one thing he does, and it gives off, like I was watching the interview today, he looks down at the ground, and then he doesn't really look you right in the eyes. And I remember going back to those days, even when I interviewed him, he would just look down, and then he'd look up for a second and look back down again. It's not a great look when you're talking about somebody else, but that's just the way he talks. Mm-hmm. What he said was not wrong about trying to bring along a guy who's got a real knack offensively for scoring goals. But like he said, you're not going to score goals 100% of the time. So what are you going to do when you're not scoring goals? And that's something that every player has to figure out. Yeah, I took nothing of it. I thought Flyers Twitter went absolutely crazy.
I thought you were going to get involved. I wanted us to start. We could have set up some fights.
I mean, it was.
Look, the beats brawl in Philly, like Philly beats go for fight. Like that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean,
Duke it out, fellas.
It was something else to see. Flyers Twitter shows again how toxic they are, and they didn't really understand what Coots was saying. I believe that. I don't think Coots said anything wrong at all.
Do you think that the idea? Because all right, let me play devil's advocate, even though I don't believe in it. Let me play the other side. You rarely do see a captain talk about another player on the team in that way. Now, again, it was a direct question about that specific player. Is there any reason to believe that that's still a conversation that's best had behind closed doors? I didn't take it as a shot. I didn't take it as we've been trying to get through to this kid and this is the way to do it. I mean, for those who aren't aware, which is zero of you, Russian is his mother tongue. He's still working on the English. I don't think that going to the media to try to do that, a shot across the bow, would be effective in any way. Is there any rational take on that this is a conversation best had behind closed doors?
You're efficient for anything because that's what Twitter does.
Yeah,
it creates out of context, and then it was actually fun and pleasurable to watch. But no, you got.
I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you were entertained by it, Fridge. I was going crazy.
I was like, look at these guys.
I was going nuts over the weekend.
Because it's really simple. I mean, we haven't had a player like Michkov in the organization for years.
Yeah.
So it's a new experience for everybody. Expectations magnified. Sophomore year, it's going to happen. This whole thing that in the summer too, you want to really get into it. If you look, Bundy, you can back this up too. The kids that are in that 10%. They don't stop playing year-round until they make the NHL. They're going to summer camps. They're going to all of those, especially in Europe. So they're going to all those tournaments all over the place. They're continuously playing. That's after the season, from 10 years old. So when he's trying to say that whole 4-month off thing, it's the first time he's never been scheduled to actually be at a tournament. If it's on the European stage,
right,
or it's in Russia, or it's in that's a whole different world over there, how they play and how they train. And that's what's all leading into this. You know what? Every kid that gets into the NHL at that level, once they make it, has every right to be like, wow, breathe it in, take it in. But this is part of being in the NHL. You find out in that second year, whoa, I got to go year-round with this. Everybody, every single year, is actually trying to get better. The best in our game, Sidney Crosby. Why is he good? Because he's the last guy on the ice. He's shooting every day. He's doing all of that little extra work. And you might be good until you get here, until you find out and you experience all that you need to experience. I think it's the best place for him to be growing up in this town because of the way he plays, actually. And I think he knows it. He's got the support of his teammates and the support of his captain in words like that. Because if you're comfortable enough to say that about a young player, he's got a lot of respect for you in that locker room. So that's actually a good view inside the locker room. That's transparency. That's how I kind of took all of it. But I also knew how the question was being asked in the first place.
Yeah. I'm not going to go on a long rant because I did that already on the Russ Joy show. If you didn't catch it, go back and watch that, and you'll hear me go off for 20 minutes on this topic. The one thing I do want to add to it, though, is yesterday I'm over in Voorhees, and I'm standing by Coots' locker, waiting for him to come off the ice. And he comes into the room, and he sees me, and he goes, "Are you here to talk to me, or is it the people who never come in here that are wanting to talk to me?"
Wow. Wow.
So we were joking. He was kidding, obviously, but I mean, that was the thing. And I asked him. I said, "When did you find out about it?" He said, "I didn't find out about it until people were texting me on Sunday night about it." Like he said, I knew nothing about it. And then all of a sudden, it's like I look, and I'm like, "Oh my God, they're making a big deal out of this." I was trying to compliment the kid.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually worth moving off of it.
Yeah.
But surprise, surprise. You know what? Here's the parallel to make, right? I saw there was a controversy on Twitter yesterday or the day before because a radio host on one of the Philly stations said, well, VJ Edgecombe hasn't been as good as he was on opening night. Well, of course not. What's the one thing that we all want? Good, young, dynamic players that are going to take their game to the next level and ultimately lead a team to a championship.
Right.
We had like roughly a decade where there were very few of those players.
Correct.
Now, with each team, you have guys like that. Michkov happens to be the one for the Flyers, though there is another guy that I'd like to get to talking about. Their most recent first-round draft pick, Porter Martone, who continues to turn a lot of heads. And in that head-to-head matchup over the, what was it, last weekend or whatever it was, Michigan State against Penn State, we got to see Martone versus McKenna. And, I mean, it looked like pretty much across the board, the player that everybody was talking about was Porter Martone. Are you guys surprised with the initial success that he's had at the collegiate level? And does it, to you, signal very good things to come for the young man when he gets to the NHL?
I think he's the real deal. Just watching him, I saw some of the highlights in that game, and his maturity level really sticks out. He's an annoying player, too, to play against, which, people don't know. He gets his stick in on guys, and he really disrupts the ice in terms of, and on top of all the offense that he provides. So I think he's going to be a special player. I mean, to me, he looks like a guy who could be a captain type of player down the road.
That's high praise.
Yeah, I think he's that type of guy.
Have you had a chance to see him?
He's a stud. A little bit. Look, we were lucky and fortunate to get him in the draft where we did. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was there, but honestly, there's a selfish part of me. I wanted him here at the start with the Flyers. So when I first heard that he was going down, I really wondered who was in part of that decision. It's got to be him. It's got to be him. He's got to be mature enough, and you know what? He's playing as good as he is down there. He is doing well. He's kind of lighting it up down there, and he is he's a big man up the middle, and he does play with an edge. He wants that experience in college. That's good. That does see that he's ready to grow a little bit. I don't think he was pushed down there because I think he could have been coming into play. And who knows? Maybe he'll come up right away. It might be too easy for him in there.
Oh, okay. Anthony?
Yeah, he might be here right after the season. I would think he will be.
Yeah, but they might be the best team in college hockey.
They may go right.
They might go all the way to the end, right? So we might only get a handful of games.
Well, that could be reinforcements for a playoff run.
There you go. Could be. Could
a little bit
well
of positivity.
be.
McKenna's not living up to the hype either. The rumblings are about that too. So.
I mean, he was. That's
it's a step up. College hockey's a step up from where he was at.
Yeah.
It is definitely a step up.
And that'll be a thing worth keeping an eye on too, because everybody's expected for 2 years now that when McKenna comes out, he's your next generational prospect. He's getting compared to McDavid. He hasn't found that success in college. Doesn't mean that it's a bust. It doesn't mean, but there's an adjustment that has to happen. Now, Anthony.
Yes.
I think you've got something you want to get to.
Yes. Well, first of all, you're listening to Snow the Goalie from Chickies and Pete's in South Philly, right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM. You can see seen live on YouTube, Snow the Goalie, Flyers Podcast, and WBCB Sports. And it's time now for our Payroll Service Solutions Player of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. Now, Fridge, every week we pick a player of the week, and we all take turns picking. Last week was the first time we had a unanimous choice when we picked
Who was it?
Trevor Zegras last week. It was deserving, right?
Yeah.
They only had 2 games since we've last broadcast, which was Thursday in Nashville and then the loss Saturday against Ottawa. So we have fewer games to pick from this week. But if I had to say to you, in those 2 games, who would you say would be the player of the week? Who would you pick? Bundy and I are on the same page on this one. We've already discussed it. Yeah, we already discussed it.
Do you guys want to reveal your pick while Fridge thinks?
I'd have to go with the tender. Vladar.
Vladar?
Yeah.
Well, he had a great game against Nashville. Yeah. He really did. I mean, and that's certainly a legitimate choice. Bundy and I are going to go with Cam York.
That sneaky guy. He's been quietly good, hasn't
Yes.
he, all year.
Quietly good as a defenseman means when you're not talking about him, he's playing really well.
Yeah.
But he's added a little bit of an element of offense to his game, which he has not had in the past. Like
he's on like a 5-point streak now.
We've seen the growth in the defensive game last year, right? And I think that he's still got that, but now he's adding that element. And listen, they took him off the power play unit with Zegras. Most of the goals that they've scored this year on the power play have been with York and Zegras together. Now they got Drysdale back there. This is not a shot at Jamie Drysdale, but they haven't scored a power play goal since they made the switch. I wouldn't. And Tocchet kind of deferred to Yogi on this one, and so we'll see if they make the change back and they put Cam York there. But I really like the way that the power play was operating with him at the point as well. And I think that he's really done a nice job and is an underrated player on this team this year. I really believe that.
Well, hey, look. There's something to say for suppression. It happens in this league, right? And last year, we didn't see Cam York at all. We didn't see him pushed in development ways. We didn't see him pushed as a player. It was kind of left on the sidelines. And this year, from the start, from the get-go, from camp, the messaging's been we're going to give Cam York every opportunity this year. And you want to see that when a young defenseman comes in, or any young player gets an opportunity to grow and develop and get that kind of nod early in the season. You want to see them do good, because then we're going to do good as a team. But I think that's the situation with Cam York, and that's why I think they had him and brought him in, because they had that. And you know what? The success, him and Zegras have been doing this on the power play for a while. He quarterbacked the power play in that U18 team.
Right.
So they've got history. That one play, that's the same play I've seen that they pull off on a U18 power play. That behind the back pass, nice behind the back pass one time to Cam York. Pew! Yeah, just like that. And you know what? That chemistry's there, and Yorkie's feeling that too. It's good to have your buddies on the same team.
Zegras and York, two players that I'm not exactly sure would have found the same success under Rick Tocchet's predecessor. I might actually team up with you guys on the York.
Well, I want Bundy. What are you seeing out of him defensively? I know you watch the defenseman on it with a little bit different eye.
You know what? He's been very, very good. He's had a good gap. He's moved the puck efficiently. He hasn't just thrown it away. But he's defended a lot harder. I always said, like, when I'm telling, like, smaller guys or guys that aren't overly physical how to defend, I always tell them to watch a guy like Duncan Keith or Eric Desjardins, if you can go back that far and find clips. But Duncan Keith wasn't a big guy, but he had the best stick, and he was so competitive with that stick and the way that he battled for the puck. And York has done a much better job of that in the D zone this year, freeing up loose pucks, moving the puck with efficiency, and then jumping up in the rush to help layer that offense. So, I mean, he's really had a good start to this season. And I agree with Fridge said, like, there wasn't a whole lot of Cam York last year. You know, we didn't have a whole lot to say about him the whole year. It felt like he was kind of stunted his development a little bit in terms of where he was. Clearly he hated the coach, and we found out later just how much he did hate the coach. So
you're allowed to. That's people got to understand that you're allowed to.
I hate.
You still got to do what they say. The coach is always right.
Say, yeah.
But you're allowed to not.
And I think.
Usually outsmarted after my first year. And Duncan Keith was one of those guys. He could get you with his stick. He could evade you, or he could just stick check you very easily. And that's a skill set. To not take a penalty in today's game and actually stick check is a skill set. Like earlier on, the Flyers taking a lot of penalties because of that stuff. So you got to learn that craft, and that takes time. But Yorkie's been much better in that space as well.
Russ, are you with us on this now?
I think I'll go with you.
Yeah, all right. Unanimous.
Well,
we went with Fridge went with Vladar, but I think he kind of came on board.
Maybe, you know what? Since he's the guest, I might have to double up with him.
If you do that now, we're splitting it.
I like a split vote.
Vote.
Who breaks the tie? We've never had to go this way before.
No. Do I get to break it because I read the ad read?
No, you did that on your own one time. I don't know if I like that idea. No, I'll go with you guys on York, but but I do want to talk about Vladar after you're done.
Yeah, so that was the Flyers Player of the Week, once again brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today, 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, catering to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again, 1-866-PAY-EASY.
All right.
Yeah, now you want to talk about Vladar.
I do, because I want to talk about the goalies.
He's in net tonight, by the way.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that. So, Fridge, to put it in the nicest possible way, the Flyers have not had high-end goaltending consistently for a good long while. Now, there were some years that Carter Hart showed some promise, and people felt like, all right, maybe he can rely on the guy, but he was super young. And so that was always, you had to kind of grade on a curve. With him out, Sam Ersson comes in, finishes out the 2024 season, whatever it was, and he played okay. Last year, kind of gets that number one gig, has a bunch of issues, groin issues, can't really play the entire season. You have this constant rotation with Kolosov, Fedotov. Come into this year, Vladar really stood out and for all intents and purposes appears to have kind of grabbed that number one job. What are you seeing on the ice, the way that this team plays in front of Vladar versus Ersson? Because it does feel like, for better or worse, they do play a tighter game, more cohesive game, and maybe a little bit more responsible game in front of Vladar. What have you seen so far from
Vladar?
Yeah.
Well, one, I think his personality fit in well here, and really with Ersson as well. I think they kind of they're comfortable sharing that number one seat. I think Bush said it best that Ersson, we haven't seen if he can manage the entire season as a number one job, the mental aspect of it, the preparation, all that stuff. He hasn't seen that yet. Vladar's kind of the perfect fit for that. The other thing Vladar is really good at is puck management. He can handle his rebounds. There's nothing ever left in front of him, and he's talking all the time. That's what I notice more than anything, is how much he's yelling out there, how much he's directing traffic in front of him. He wants to see the puck, and I think Talk's coaching this way as well, is clear the lane rather than shot block. And if he sees the puck, he's blocking that puck, but he's got great puck management, not a lot of rebounds in front of him. If he does have rebounds, they're going off to the side, deep into the corner. I got a little bit worried in Nashville about his puck handling.
Yeah, it's true. He's really been a revelation to this team, and for a team looking for good goaltending and somebody to kind of solidify it, he has done that job for this team thus far. I mean, but he only allowed 2 goals or less in almost every game he's played up until a couple games ago, right?
Right.
So I mean, he's done an unbelievable job. He's still top 5 in save percentage in the NHL as well.
So my question for you guys is this, based on that. So he's been great. There's no doubt about it. He's been really good, and he's one of the reasons why the Flyers have gotten off to a good start. The question is that for his entirety of his career, he's been a backup goalie. He's never been a number one guy. Obviously, they're not going to play him 65, 70 games, but, for a guy who's never been the number one, how hard is it for him to sustain what he's been doing, even if he's playing 45 to 50 times, which is more than he has ever played before in his season? Like, does he hit a wall at some point because he's never been asked to play that often?
You know what? You're asking the wrong guy this question. But I think from former player perspective, that role for Vladar, look, you never know when a goalie's going to become number one. The development curve is, I guess, unique and individual, longer than any other curve. So was he in that position to become the number one this year or in the next few years or maybe last year in Calgary? That's what I'm thinking, because the way he's playing here, that has to be the case. Maybe he's reached his pinnacle, right, and he needs the time now. He's developed, he's mature, he's old enough as a goaltender, but then that Wolf kid comes in.
Right.
This kid's lights out.
Yeah.
So that sometimes could happen. Is that the case here? Maybe, because we've got a great relationship with Calgary. I think Danny and Conroy and Jonesy. I think that's what happened. I think he was a player that's ready to become a number one, wants the opportunity, and knows he's not going to get it in Calgary. And that kind of worked out for us very well, because that's what I think we got in Dan Vladar.
The interesting thing with when he was in Calgary last year with Wolf, they were protecting Wolf a little bit. They would play Vladar against the better teams.
Right.
Down the stretch especially.
So like that kind of, even though his numbers may not look stellar when you're going up against the best offenses in the league constantly.
Hey, Bundy had to shut down Jagger every time.
Somebody had to do
it. Nobody could do it better. Bundy was the shutdown. Only man that could shut him down. Jagger even said it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Those
proof.
were good
That's
times.
Proof.
Thanks for
Hey?
pumping me up, Fridge. I appreciate it, brother.
I know we have you boys for like 5 more minutes because Fridge, you got to go get ready for the radio broadcast. Bundy, you are doing a season ticket holder
And
event.
pregame radio,
And do pregame radio. So I just want to kind of have you guys kind of give your thoughts about this game tonight, and then Russ and I will take this thing home.
Well, I'll go first, Fridge.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at Edmonton, this is a team where, in terms of what the Flyers have been trying to build since the beginning of the year, it kind of comes into this game. Get to the middle of the ice, take lots of shots, overpower the other team's defense when you get the opportunity to. Edmonton gives up a lot of goals. And Skinner has been kind of up and down for the last
You mean
several
Edmonton
years.
doesn't have a goalie?
They don't have a goalie. They got bigger goaltender issues than we do.
I'm stunned.
Yeah.
Imagine being in back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and having the goaltending issues they have. Right? That's usually not something you're talking about. for 2
McDavid
years in a row.
having buyer's remorse on signing back for 2
Well,
years.
he's given them a 2-year chance to try to build it right and see if
Find
they can
any
win
goalie.
one cup with him.
Find a goalie with a pulse.
Any goalie with a pulse. But
Yeah.
no, I just think this is a game where if the Flyers play the kind of game Rick Tocchet has had them trying to play, and they've done it a little bit successfully of late, this should be a Flyers win tonight. I don't think Edmonton can beat the Flyers if the Flyers play the kind of game that they need to play.
Fridge?
Yeah. The Flyers got to expose their D. They're weak on their D. They got some slow-footed guys, and obviously goaltending's weakness. So lots of shots from everywhere. The one problem they're going to have is Edmonton's not doing well right now. They're going to get one of those teams that's pissed off, that needs a win really bad, and that's what's going to happen. Edmonton can get things together, and it can be a dangerous team. So if the Flyers play the way that they're supposed to play and continuously getting better, I think they're going to be on the winning side tonight. But it's going to be a good game, that's for sure.
Flyers been good at shot suppression recently. Do you think that tonight is another one of those games where we see a lower shot total, or do you think this is one where like the skill of McDavid and Draisaitl are just such that there's nobody who can actually contain them, and it's going to be kind of open season on Vladar?
Yeah, Edmonton's not a team that stays perimeter. They use speed. They penetrate from the inside. They do they swing that centerman out or that winger out in between the D-man on the top, so they do the umbrella play. They're all over the place offensively. I think there's going to be a lot more shots. Flyers have been really good at, I guess you'd call it a box plus one. Or they basically play a penalty-killing type of defensive style, which you don't get a lot of shots, and you might get a lot of offensive zone time, but there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
And it's like a little bit boring to watch, but there's nothing happening. So Edmonton's not going to be playing like that, so they'll have to watch out.
Breaking news for you guys.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Tyson Forster, activated off of IR, will be in the lineup tonight.
Whoa!
Okay. For the Flyers. Carl Gunderson sent down to the Phantoms as the counter move there. So Tyson Forster back in the lineup tonight.
Think they put the line back together?
I do. They were practicing that way yesterday. So they changed the lineup. There was a line change real quick before you guys got to roll. They put that line back together with Forster, Cates, and Brink. But the change is they put Zegras on the wing with Coots and Michkov. So now you got that. That means the other line is Tippett, Dvorak, and Konechny. I'm interested to see what Zegras and Michkov together with Coots in the middle, how that plays against a fast Edmonton team.
Yeah, I'm more worried about TK and
Tippett. No question.
Because they're two different. They're almost conflicting styles. It's like putting two poles together.
Well, I'm sure Russ and I will talk about Tippett, and we'll probably dive into it more with Bundy over on the Press Row show when we come over to the building. But he just seems like a guy that doesn't have a good fit on this roster, on a line. He's got a ton of skill, a ton of speed, and just doesn't seem to have
something needs to be found. Something needs to be found.
Yeah.
Whether it's a dynamic teammate or a player or somebody that he can, because there's something there that's just it's like an unbridled, it's waiting to be broken out.
Yes, I agree.
Hopefully, Talk can do that.
I agree. Fridge, thanks for hopping on with us today.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Have a great
Good to see you,
show.
Bundles.
Yep, have a great show, my friend.
See ya, buddy.
Yep, and Bundy.
Yeah, I'll hang out for a couple more minutes.
Oh, okay. You got a couple more minutes.
By the way, the Halloween, the dodgeball, you playing Jason?
It wasn't me.
Oh, yeah. There's a guy who just happened to sound a lot like you.
Yeah.
Well, whoever that guy was.
It was good. No, that was good.
He was fantastic.
Timmy actually said that it was me on the air. So, yeah, I have fun doing that stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Todd Fedoruk, thanks for joining us here on the Snow The Goalie. Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome.
What a guy. Give it up.
One of my favorites.
Stick
one
taps
of my favorites.
On the table.
Yes, absolutely. Above the table.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, there
So
he
there we
goes.
go.
All right. So let's. I guess we can.
I
Continue
guess
the
I should say
conversation.
this
Well,
real
let
quick.
Me before you get there.
Okay.
Listen, we've been going here for about a half hour straight.
Yeah.
And we once again, we haven't mentioned it today, but if you're out there and you're watching or you're listening or whatever on YouTube or Facebook or X and you want to have a conversation, you can give us a call. 215-949-3232. Again, 215-949-3232. Let us know what you think. Weigh in on everything we had to say. Do you have a different player of the week? What are your thoughts on Tippett? Konechny. A lot of people, I mean, we'll get to this in a sec, but let's kind of wet the whistle a little bit, a little tease. While some people have been very concerned about Michkov, it seems like maybe there hasn't been as much concern about an Owen Tippett or a Travis Konechny. We'll get there in a little bit, but first.
Oh, now I can go. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm telling you, I'm looking around Chickies and Pete's right now.
Yeah.
Really good crowd here tonight. Really good Flyers crowd here tonight. A lot of Flyers jerseys sitting out there at the tables. This is the perfect place to watch a Flyers game.
It is.
And I'm sure it'll be a great crowd in here for the game tonight. But even when they're on the road, head out to Chickies and Pete's, grab a basket of crab fries, which Russ and I have between us. Go to one of the specialty pizzas, the Lisa Blonde lobster pie, the shrimp tomato, the hot honey pepperoni. Bundy gets the traditional every week, right?
Yep.
It's awesome pie. Russ got the crab cake sandwich. I had the barbecue burger tonight. All good stuff. So stop by the flagship location where we are tonight in South Philly, or any one of their 17 locations, and make sure that you check out a Flyers game. And if you need to find out more information, go to chickiesandpete's.com to check out for all of their upcoming events and more.
I've actually been told we have a call.
Great.
See? Ask and ye shall receive. And then we'll get to
That's why they give the the number out on radio.
That's
right?
correct. So
Okay.
we'll get to the Tippett and the Konechny thing here in a second. But first, we're going to go out to Keith. Keith, you're on Snow the Goalie Radio. How are you tonight?
Gentlemen, good evening. How are you guys? I'm doing great.
That's awesome, Keith. Where are you calling us from?
I'm out in Ohio now. I
Wow.
used to live near Harrisburg.
Okay.
Outside Harrisburg, in a little podunk town with 200 people in it.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
okay. Yeah, that's great.
Hey, yeah, a couple things. Off Fridge and Bundy on the same show. That's a throwback for me. Takes me back to the good old days.
The good old days.
Right, but Bundy, we talked briefly at the end of last year. How's your recovery program going? Is that still
it's
going well?
Doing great. Yes, sir, it is. Yeah. Getting lots of people help and
Excellent.
still
I'm glad
doing
to
that.
hear it. Good. Hey, I know just a stranger, but real proud of you for the effort you put into making that happen. That's a real big thing for you to do.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. But my actual Flyers-related question.
Yeah.
What are we going to do when we have Martone come in and we are already overflowing with wingers?
It's a great question.
It is a great question, Keith, and thanks for the call. We'll give you that answer.
I always say to a question like that, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, it's a good problem to have, right? I mean, it's their, the Flyers still need centers. The Flyers still need defensemen. They have a glut of wingers. So if you're going to go out and trade for a center or trade for a defenseman, you're obviously going to probably move a winger at some point. Who that winger is, we'll have, time will tell. People are going to keep fighting for jobs. And keep in mind, it's not just Martone. Like they have high hopes for Bump down in with the Phantoms. I know he got off to a slow start, but he's starting to they start to feel like he's getting there soon. So they have other guys that they feel like that are going to be coming into this lineup, and where are they going to fit?
Yeah.
So somebody's going to have to go out. And I think that's why when you hear about the rumors that are going around, they're going to trade Owen Tippett. I think that's just people saying, there was a chat between general managers and they ask about a certain player, and that's how those rumors kind of get out there. Doesn't mean there's anything imminent, but I think that's probably where you're going to look first, if in fact you get to a point where Tippett is still kind of inconsistent and doesn't have anybody keeping him scoring on a regular basis. That may be the direction that they look to go. And the reason is, and this is the thing that's most interesting, and I know a lot of people think it's a bad contract, right? But it's really not.
Which contract?
Tippett.
It's a bad contract.
And I'll tell you why it's not a bad contract. Guys are currently getting paid. You're starting to see the new money that's coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Twice what Owen Tippett's making now.
Yeah.
So 7 years from now, at the end of Owen Tippett's contract, where is a player in your roster making $6 million?
Yeah, right.
At the bottom of the lineup.
Right.
Right? So it's not a bad contract. The part of the contract that's a little bit concerning is the limited no trade clause. So he can able starting next season, and for 4 seasons, he can pick 10 teams that he cannot be traded to. So it does limit what you can do with him starting July 1st. But if you decide you're going to trade him before July 1st, then that doesn't come into play. So therefore, it's, as of right now, it is not a terrible contract. You can argue that the length is maybe a little long, but it's not like, oh my God, this is going to bury them for years. It's not. It's an affordable contract for the type of player that he is.
If I were a hot take artist, I would offer that I'm not sure he's in the NHL in 4 years.
Well,
but I'm not a hot take
I'm glad
artist.
you're not a hot
I'm
take
not a
artist,
hot
because
take
that's
artist.
ridiculous. He will be in the NHL.
He has a
Yeah.
skill. His skill is speed. It's something that can't be taught. The speed doesn't matter if you can't actually execute. He's so streaky at this point, and he makes boneheaded plays on the ice. Now, he's still young-ish. Will he learn? Sure. You certainly have to hope so. Now, the $6 million, 6.25 or whatever it is that he's making right now, yeah, you could look at, like, what does it look like in 6 or 7 years? Fine. That's not what teams are trading for right now,
No,
right?
but the teams are signing players for twice the amount of money. So the average,
who's getting signed for $12 million, though, that's
your top
that's on the level of Tippett?
Nobody. But what I'm
Okay.
saying, that's my point. But so you're over the course of the next couple of seasons, your top players are going to be making 10, 12, 13, 14 million dollars as that cap keeps going up, and Owen Tippett's still only making 6. So he's further down a depth chart at $6 million because it's saying, oh, well, if we're paying top line guys 2 to 2.5 times that, then that's what
So
third line
third
guy
liner
is.
is going to be $6 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's not a bad. It's in the moment you look at it and go, that's a lot for 2025, 2026. Okay, fine. But over the course of the next 2 to 3 seasons, it becomes a much more affordable contract.
I agree with Anthony on this. And with that, I've got to get going.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Bundy.
Thanks, crowd.
Bundy.
We'll catch you guys after. Thank you.
You'll see Bundy on the Press Row show in a little over an hour or hour and a half.
That's correct. Because we are going. Don't forget, we are here. We're doing this show until 6 o'clock. Then we go run across the street. We're actually running. I don't know if anybody knows this. We are actually running from here over to the Xfinity Mobile Arena for the Press Row show at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock start. Bundy will be on pregame radio over on the Fanatic, and then we're going to be,
I plan on winning that race against you, Russ.
I think that will happen if I have an asthma attack. And also fall asleep for an hour and a half. Then I like your chances. Otherwise, I'm not so sure. Now, okay. Let us know. Listen, if you're out there and you want to chime in, by all means, let us know, 215-949-3232. What's the nice way? Uh-oh, I just lost sound in here. I don't know what all that was.
I can hear you.
You can still hear me? Okay.
Yes, your mic's on.
Yeah. Okay. I'll figure it out.
I'll be loud so you can hear me.
I appreciate that. So the Tippett deal to me was not great. I guess I'll take that. The Tippett deal to me at the time felt like not a Hail Mary, but it certainly felt like you're trying to figure this thing out on the earlier side of things, and you want to try to get ahead of it. So let me ask you, what fundamentally changed? Who gave Owen Tippett the contract?
Danny Briere.
Okay. So Danny wanted to get ahead of it with Owen Tippett.
Yeah.
Trevor Zegras is a restricted free agent.
Correct.
Trevor Zegras is a significantly better player than Owen Tippett. Why are we not hearing right now that they are close to a contract? I saw that Elliot Friedman kind of threw something out, I think, on 32 Thoughts that, they like the player likes being here, yada, yada, yada.
I wrote it.
I wrote
it 2 weeks ago, right? Or a week and a half ago.
Yeah, that they clearly are hoping that at some point they might be able to find a healthier number for the team. But, realistically, Zegras continues to play well. The longer I think this goes, the higher risk you have of this becoming not untenable, but you run the risk of that number jumping and jumping and jumping.
I agree with you, and that's why my recommendation 10 days ago when I wrote that column was do it now. Why wait? Because I think that you can probably get him in the $8 million range, 8-ish, might be 8.2, 8.3, whatever. But I think that you can get him in that range today. Whereas if he keeps going and he becomes a 90 to 100 point player for the year, let's say he has a great year, he's your leading scorer, he's a top 20 in the league in scoring, whatever, and he's that kind of player. And then you're negotiating that in the offseason while he's a restricted free agent. Now all of a sudden you're looking at a number that's bigger than that.
Correct.
And if you still don't want to pay that and you say, well, take him to arbitration, which is never a good thing. You should never go to arbitration.
Nope.
You're now putting it in the hands of an arbitrator or an arbiter who's going to sit there and choose between your offer and what they want. And not like, the arbitrator doesn't negotiate a price. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
And so you really run the risk of then having to pay more. I'm of the mind that you should sign him right now.
I agree.
Yes.
If you can get him even in the 9s, like 9.25, you do it right now.
Yeah. I don't think they're that high right now.
But see, the thing is, like,
I'm just saying, I don't think that Zegras' camp is in that high.
Jesus,
right
if that's the case,
yeah,
and they're looking at like 8.5, 8.7, what exactly do the Flyers hope his number is going to fall to? And how poorly does he have to perform for it to fall to whatever? Because let me use your Owen Tippett analogy. Then, right? Owen Tippett's ceiling is here. Trevor Zegras, in theory, if he's a center, it's significantly higher. If he's a winger, we would probably agree Zegras could be a top-line player. If it's a wing, whatever, we think that he has a higher ceiling, right?
Yeah.
And age-wise and everything, I think there's a higher ceiling with Trevor Zegras. If you were willing a year ago or a year and a half ago to give Owen Tippett 6.25, and right now you cannot figure out a way to justify in your mind $2 million a year more for Trevor Zegras playing this way now, a guy that they've coveted for years, and they finally were able to bring it. How do you not find the way to make that $2 million gap and just say, you know what, cool, get it done?
So
is it term? Could it be term?
No. What I think, what I think it is I think that they are looking at it and saying, you look at the fact that he's had what they've played 17 games so far, 16
like that, yeah.
Whatever it is, and it's been a good 16, 17 games, whatever it is, really
15.
good 16, 17 games, 15 games,
8, 5, and 2.
8, 5, and 2. That's right.
It feels like it's been more.
It does feel like more. It's because we were there every night.
That's right.
So 15 games. It's been a good 15 games, right? But it's just 15 games.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to necessarily jump, and this is their thinking, not me. They're thinking, well, what if he reverts back to now that he's on the wing, he's not a center. Mm-hmm. We're seeing this. He's moved. He's pretty much exclusively a winger now. What if he reverts back to the player he was the last 2 years in Anaheim? And then you give him that big contract, and he's not as good as he's been these 15 games. Then are we 3 years from now, 2 years from now, cursing this contract, right? So I think that they want a little bit more of a sample before they decide, okay, we're willing to pay that much more money. Right now, they're comfortable. I think the Flyers right now would be comfortable in the mid-7s.
Okay.
And I think Zegras is asking for the mid-8s. So it's not that I think that they're far apart, but I don't think it's anything that's imminent either. I think that they want to give it a little bit more run. Wouldn't surprise me if it's closer to February that it would happen, and take an assessment, like a half-season assessment at that point, and then to make the determination. I don't think that they want him to kind of earn it, as opposed to, hey, you had a great month, let's pay you all this money, right?
Okay.
So I think that's what they're thinking. Would I sign him? I see enough in his game, and I've seen enough in the way he played in Anaheim prior to the last 2 seasons to know that he's a player that can be this on a consistent basis if he wants to, and therefore I would give him the money. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I would be wrong to do that, but I would personally pay him the money.
You know what's kind of bananas is that he is almost 2 full years younger than Owen Tippett.
I know. Yes.
So, like, when you think about, like, does a guy have the ability to grow? Does a guy have the ability to mature? Can his game kind of fill out even more? To me, like that, 24. There's a lot of learning to do. There's a lot of leeway. I don't know. I don't fully understand, perhaps, the Flyers' mentality on this one. But we'll see. Listen, I think maybe the thing that you're looking at, if you're the Flyers, is that there have been injury issues the last 2 years with Zegras.
Yes.
Played 51 games or 57 games last year, 31 the year before. maybe that's part of the concern.
Sure.
Can you stay healthy? Maybe they get to the mid-season mark and say, all right, based on the fact that you've been healthy for the first half of the year, point production has remained, relatively close to a point per game guy. All right, cool, let's get it done. I mean, maybe there's some thought to that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and as Tony Louis points out, although I don't think it's going to go this long, it's, under the new CBA, 7 years is the new max, so you can't do 8 anymore.
Yeah.
So if he waits till July, you can only get 7 years.
Okay.
So, but I don't think I don't think it goes that long, Tony. To be honest with you, I think
it's gonna be like a 5-year deal.
No. What I mean by that long is I don't think it waits till July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they get it done this season.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little bit later in the season and not right now.
I think Weiland here, by the way, is correct. I think Weiland is spot on, saying Zegras is going to want to stay with his boys here in Philly, like Drysdale and York.
I agree.
I think it's a big part of it.
They are very tight. I mean, when I tell you they're very tight, you should see the way they goof off in the locker room afterwards. Like it's like 3 brothers. Like I watched them talking to each other. It's like 3 brothers. And York's the quiet one, but Zegras and Drysdale are the more animated, fun, like the fun guys, and York's like the big brother in a lot of ways. But yes, they're very, very close, and I think that that's important, and I think that the Flyers recognize that, and I think that that's one of the things that they wanted to make sure that they did. So when they locked up Cam York last year with his contract, it was that, okay, now if Zegras comes in and he's able to be the guy he's going to be, we're going to lock him up. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, Drysdale's had a pretty nice season so far. Not off the charts great, but certainly a lot better than he was a year ago. And so, like, he's trending in the right direction. So there's another guy you want to say, okay, these 3 guys who are like brothers could well be a part of our core for the next 5 to 8 years. And that's something that we want to have happen.
And I wonder, what's the you think about it, right? If you have a team that has a young enough core that all starts to grow and blossom together, we always joke, and I joked about this the other week, where I was like, well, if you need that solution to that number 1 defenseman issue, Quinn Hughes is a free agent in 2 years.
Yeah.
And has a very good relationship with Rick Tocchet.
Yeah.
And does he look at a young core? Maybe that is in some way anchored by Zegras, York,
And
Drysdale,
Zegras
and company.
is tight with him, too.
So there you go.
I mean, he's tight with all 3 of the Hugheses, but he trains with them in the offseason. He hangs out with their family home up in Minnesota, I think it is, or Michigan, Michigan. I forget what one of those M states up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, he goes and hangs out with them. So you got that as well. So like you're not wrong to suggest that. Yes, if Quinn Hughes becomes a free agent, there's going to be 30 teams that want him, right?
Yeah.
But that is certainly something that you look at and go, oh man, that would be an attractive thing for him to play with guys that he's tight with and friendly with on a team with a lot of young players locked up for a long time.
So that's a positive, all right? Like there's a potential path there.
Yes.
I want to get to another guy that I think it's fair to have some concern about now. Travis Konechny. Production just has not been there yet, and he's a likable guy. He's a guy that when he's going well, and when he's chirping the opposition, and when he's like fully invested in and engaged in the game, this team plays better. They have always played better when he's like that. But when he's quiet, when he's maybe not totally on his game, their play as a collective unit kind of suffers. He's your highest paid forward. He's got 3 goals this season. 2 of
Five.
I don't count. 2 of them are empty nets. So 3.
Everybody's got empty nets.
3 goals. 3 goals from the regular run of play.
Okay.
Empty net, whatever.
Yeah.
You could make an empty net goal.
Yes,
So,
everybody.
So we're not gonna.
Are we taking
five
away?
goals.
Are we taking away empty net goals from everybody? Alex Ovechkin.
Well, I'm just trying to make a point.
Alex Ovechkin would be nowhere close to Gretzky's record if we took away empty net
Well,
goals.
I mean, take everybody's empty net goals away, and he would still be the number 1? I don't know. For the purpose of this, though, like an empty net goal is lovely and like it looks like a stat, but it's a hollow stat. It's 3 goals, 15 games into the year. You don't like to go back to look at last year, but he didn't score in his last 10. And I'm wondering, is there a possibility that there is a guy putting too much pressure on himself? Or is this who Travis Konechny is? Because if it is, that'd be bad. Is he putting a lot of pressure on himself? Is he maybe gripping the stick too tight, trying to force something to happen? Like, where do you land on his play so far?
You realize he does have 5 goals. I know you want to take away the empty netters, but he's on pace for 27.
Yeah.
That's 27. It's slightly below what would do? Sure. Sure. But all it takes is one hot streak to get back above the pace for 30, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, that's what Travis Konechny is because that's what he's been.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So, like, yeah, 5 goals in 15 games. Would you wish that he had 7 at this point? Would that make you feel a lot better if it was 7?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I guess, maybe.
So he's 2
Maybe.
goals off pace.
I don't know. So I think that when they signed him, the hope was that he was going to be a guy who would comfortably be in the 30s. Maybe he didn't have 40-goal upside, but he'd be somewhere in that mid-30s-ish range.
Right, and they thought Tippett was going to be the same thing, right? That's kind of the hope. And from year to year, guys are going to fluctuate, right? It's like just like when in baseball, you think a guy's going to hit X number of home runs, and then they have a down year and they don't hit X number of home runs. And then the general manager says that, we'll wonder if he's going to be elite again, right? That's the same concept,
Sure.
right? So it's the same thing.
Okay. So go back a few years, 31 goals in 60 games. You
Yep.
go, there we go. There's the goal scorer we're hoping for.
Yep.
I don't think anybody was like, oh, Travis Konechny, 50-goal scorer.
Right.
I think it was like, all right, cool. Like, that's pretty darn impressive.
Right.
And then you go to the next year. He adds 2 more, 33 goals in 76 games. So,
Yep.
all right, a couple more goals, but
Okay.
bigger sample size. And then last year, the bottom really did kind of fall out. I mean, it was a dip of 9 goals. It's
Right.
24 in 82 games. Now,
Right.
it's great that from the Ironman perspective, he could play 82 games. But 24 is certainly not what you needed. I think that the big issue is so we could talk about the lineup tonight, right? Like if it ultimately what was in practice is what happens in the game. Zegras, Couturier, and Michkov. Well, you could see that line and say that's probably going to work, probably.
You hope, yeah.
And then you look at this line of Tippett, Dvorak, and Konechny, and I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
I'm not sure either.
I don't even know if it will work.
I'm not sure either.
What exactly? So we had the conversation before the last game that, in order to unlock Tippett, maybe he needs to play with Zegras, but Zegras isn't a 200-foot center, so you're like, that might not work, and it didn't. What exactly do you think Tocchet is trying to do or accomplish by having Dvorak with those two?
He's just trying to he's looking to have right now 2 really good lines at this point, right? You obviously don't have the right mix to have 3. You have pieces of it, and if you play Tippett with Zegras, he played him with Zegras and Dvorak the first 6 games of the year, and he scored 5 goals. Owen Tippett, right? So you can generate offense with him. I'm not sure it's going to happen with Dvorak and Konechny, but you're just trying to find a spot for these guys and hope somebody gets going. I mean, that's really all you can do because you have the other 2 lines you think are going to work, right? I mean, the Cates line works.
Yep.
Right? And now you think, okay, we're going to play Zegras and Michkov together, and we have a really reliable defensive forward with them in Couturier. That should work.
Yep.
Right? So, okay, now you have that. You have the 4th line, which does its job. Well, you have 3 other forwards. By default, they have to be put together. Right, and that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're hoping somebody starts to.
It's almost like scrounging things in the kitchen, right, late at night. You're looking for a little snack, and you're like, all right, I've got some peanut butter, got a little bit of bread, maybe some crackers, and you go, I have some shredded chicken, and you think to yourself, well, peanut butter can go into pad thai, and chicken can go into pad thai. Maybe it'll work, and then you put it together.
And maybe it doesn't.
It depends on it depends on your state of mind how well it works.
Guess what? Who was the first person that put peanut butter and banana together?
Hey.
Or who was right?
Thank you.
Right?
Very much.
Right?
Yeah.
Elvis put peanut butter and banana together, and you just put it on a hamburger. As a matter of fact,
On a hamburger?
there's a place in Atlanta called the Elvis Burger. It's peanut butter.
sounds gross.
Peanut butter. It's actually pretty good.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Did I
Actually,
ever tell you about the fluff burger? No? Marshmallow fluff and hot sauce? It's up at a place
not with hot sauce. I've seen fluff on a burger before, not with hot sauce.
It's up at a place in Schuylkill County. I have to tell you about.
Okay.
It's like a pepper. It's almost like a pepper jam. It is like the spiciest pepper jam you've ever had.
Yeah.
And then they put
But
the
so
fluff.
I mean, think about these combinations, right?
Yeah.
So who would have thought that? I mean, you say it out loud. It's like, oh, that might be
So
disgusting.
Tippett is the hot sauce.
All right, could be.
Konechny's the burger, and
There you
and Dvorak is the fluff.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
All right.
And maybe it
Great
works.
analogies here on Snow the Goalie.
Maybe it works.
Come for the hockey
Maybe it
analysis.
works.
Stay for the
Hey,
weird food conversation.
Don't forget that the on-site host for each and every week for Snow the Goalie is Chickies and Pete's. No matter the sports season, Chickies and Pete's has you covered. Start the meal off right with some of their delicious red garlic or spicy white wine menu mussels. Before you indulge in one of the mouth-watering burgers like the Ultimate Tailgate or the Fightin's Burger, or like I had the barbecue burger today. And then you can come out and there are 17 different locations. I can't tell you where we're going to be next week
Okay.
because we might be moving next week as well.
Really?
Yes, because I'm working on potentially getting us another guest
Oh.
for next week's show.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it off air, but it's not because it's not finalized. I can't say it, but we might be at a different Chickies and Pete's than we're currently scheduled for. But stay tuned to our social media. We'll announce it within the next couple days. But there are 17 Chickies and Pete's locations. Be sure to check them all out and watch a Flyers game there. It's a good time. And then if you're at the game, there's 2 Chickies and Pete's locations at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. You can check them out at the East Food Hall or at the Southeast entrance in front of Section 103.
I love that. And I love Chickies and Pete's. You know who was eating Chickies and Pete's crab fries the other night? Intern Andrew. He went over to the
Yes.
stand and he bought some crab fries.
I know.
I was jealous.
I didn't realize they sold them up on the balcony
They do.
level.
It's all the way at the end. You come up to us, you go through the glass doors in section 121, go all the way up to the balcony. You see Mike the organist, great guy. You see the press row show set up. You
Yep.
go to the left through the old sports book, and all the way to the end, that's where the crab fries are. So there you go.
Yeah, it's good.
It is.
It's good.
All right.
We got 5 minutes left in the show, Russ, and then we'll continue this in about an hour over on the Press Row Show inside the arena. I'm sure we'll have much more to talk about there.
So much hockey talk.
So much.
So much. Let's actually get to one last thing.
One last thing.
I know
You're
that
stealing
you
that
do,
from
you
my,
do that,
fight,
you
my
do that,
fighting words.
You do that
Yeah.
on another show.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that if you had to assess it right now, you felt the best about in the Flyers pipeline, position-wise, going into the future? Because we obviously talk about number one center is a necessity, number one defenseman is a necessity, number one goalie is a necessity. As of right now, if you had to look at it and say, I am confident that in 5 years, Flyers, perennial Stanley Cup contender, what is the one thing, the one position that you feel like they have that guy in the organization right now?
This is going to be crazy when I say this. But
Am I
goalie.
I just saw a guy over there kind of shiver when you said,
Yeah,
all right, go ahead.
goalie.
Go ahead.
Well, look, I think that they have 2 prospects. I think Zavragan is the guy that they ultimately believe is going to be the guy.
Okay.
All right. Played really well in the KHL. I think ultimately he's that guy.
Okay.
But don't sleep on Carson Bjarnason. Got off to a pretty good start with the Phantoms, and he's playing a lot more than they anticipated, because you had Urson was out, and so they had to call up Kolosov, and so Bjarnason had to kind of be the lead dog there for a little bit. Played well. And so I think you look at that and you sit there and go, you have 2 guys there who, we're developing and we feel really good about in the system. Kolosov's played well.
Alexei Kolosov.
Right? And
Yeah.
when he's played in the AHL, he's played well.
Yep.
You got Vladar playing like a number 1 right now at the NHL level, surprising a lot of us, but he is playing that way. Again, small sample. We'll see where he's at in March if he's still in the same spot.
Yep.
But you look at it and sit there and go, they have some goaltending depth here that they've never had before.
That is true.
And so, if you had to say to me, where do I feel most comfortable of what their depth is? There are guys at other positions that you say, okay, that should be a good player, that should be a good player, but you don't quite know, you haven't quite seen the consistency. I've seen consistency out of these guys in goal. Mm-hmm. And so, even though it's at a smaller level or in a different league or whatever, I sit there and go, I would be excited about that. I think they might have something there. So that's the one I would say.
I'm going to be honest. We've done this show together for 8 years. I did not see that answer coming. I thought you'd go wing.
Well,
if for no other reason than they have a glut of wings.
Well, because of Martone.
Yeah.
Martone makes wing automatically.
Dude looks like a stud.
Yeah, I get it. But you're saying that you said depth, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know, beyond Martone, it's like
Trevor Zegers.
no, but you said
Alex Bump.
in the system.
Yeah.
I'm going off of in the system.
Oh, okay.
I'm ignoring what's on the current roster.
You know what? I actually do have something that we can finish up with here.
Yeah.
And then I want to carry into the Press Row Show at 7 o'clock on the Snow The Goalie YouTube channel. Nikita Grabenkin. Why is he not playing every night?
He's playing more now.
He's getting 8 minutes a night.
Okay, but he's still playing. You said, why is he not playing
He's
every
not
night?
in the lineup tonight, I don't think.
Did they take him out? I didn't
think
see
he was
that.
he was the group of players that are probably going to be scratched.
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
We'll carry that conversation.
Yeah, we'll carry
over
that
the Press Row
conversation
Show.
over. Okay.
You know me. I'm number 1 on Grabenkin Island.
Yep.
Big believer.
All right. Thanks to everyone who came out to Chickies and Pete's to see the show tonight. Great Flyers crowd here tonight. It's awesome. Love to have you guys out here, and I guess we'll see you over at the arena.
At the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Big thank you to everybody who tuned in live over on WBCB Radio as well as